The return of Roman Reigns to WWE in the latter half of 2025 has introduced a dynamic shift in the company's storytelling and power structure. His reemergence after a long absence, caused by betrayal and the fallout from WrestleMania, presents not only the resurrection of an iconic figure, but also the reshuffling of major characters and storylines that were previously spiraling without a central force. Reigns comes back with intent, targeting former allies turned enemies, and positioning himself strategically within a chaotic landscape that has been deeply affected by uncertainty around Seth Rollins and the ascending momentum of CM Punk. While WWE continues to be propelled by unpredictability and the anticipation of major matchups, the most compelling narratives are emerging around the intersecting fates of these three men. Reigns, once betrayed by Paul Heyman and left on the sidelines by Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, returns not just as a force of vengeance, but as a possible catalyst for one of WWE's most memorable alliances. His earlier dominance as the tribal chief established a precedent of control, and now that he reclaims the spotlight, he does so with calculated steps. The betrayal by Heyman, his former wise man, cut deeper than most storyline turns, given the emotional and historical foundation of their relationship. Reigns' response to this betrayal is measured, and instead of reacting impulsively, he's opting for strategic dismantling. His decision to potentially align with CM Punk, another long-standing rival, is not merely about vengeance. It is a signal that the game has changed. Punk, a notoriously rebellious figure who has clashed with nearly every pillar of the company, is now being painted as a mutual weapon against a larger threat, the coalition formed by Rollins and Heyman. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins' knee injury throws a massive wrench into WWE's momentum. At the time of the incident with LA Knight, Rollins had been a cornerstone of Raw, and arguably WWE's most effective antagonist. Holding the Money in the Bank briefcase gave him storyline flexibility, allowing his presence to loom large over every world title picture. The ambiguity surrounding his injury has left fans questioning the legitimacy of the entire incident. WWE's silence and lack of clear medical updates have created a breeding ground for conspiracy and speculation. Is it a legitimate injury that will sideline one of the company's top performers for months, or is it a cleverly executed ruse to increase the shock value of a future cash-in? The promotional silence has turned the mystery into a valuable marketing tool, drawing attention to every RAW episode and pay-per-view event where Rollins might suddenly return. The real intrigue lies in how Rollins, Reigns, and Punk could potentially collide or intersect in the coming months. CM Punk is now the challenger for Gunther's world title at SummerSlam, a match that already feels like a classic in the making. Gunther's reign has been one of dominance, built on brutal technicality and sheer presence. However, Punk brings with him years of experience, resilience, and a renewed connection with the fan base. The timing of this match could not be more perfect, given that Cody Rhodes is preoccupied with John Cena in a separate title bout. With the top two titles being defended by entirely different sets of wrestlers, it offers WWE the ability to weave multiple narratives at once without overlap. But that also means Rollins' looming presence as a potential spoiler becomes even more critical. Should Punk win the title and Rollins cash in at that moment, it sets up a chain reaction of personal vendettas, an emotional fallout that can carry WWE through several major events into 2026. The idea that Roman Reigns could work alongside Punk, even temporarily, is not just shocking. It's revolutionary within the context of WWE storytelling. Their history is long and complicated. Their previous clash was at a different time, with Reigns still finding his footing and Punk on his way out of WWE. The landscape now is entirely different. Punk is back, reinvigorated and driven. Reigns is battle-tested and introspective. An alliance born from mutual contempt for Heyman and Rollins adds layers of emotional depth to their union. It also opens the door for inevitable betrayal, tension, and a future showdown that fans have waited years to see under the right circumstances. There is already a suggestion that this partnership, no matter how strong, will eventually crumble. That potential makes every interaction between them more compelling. The eventual Reigns versus Punk match feels destined, whether it occurs at WrestleMania 42 or another monumental event. WWE, in building this complex web of rivalries, is managing to mask the reality of Roman Reigns' part-time schedule. His commitments outside the ring, such as his role as Akuma in the upcoming Street Fighter film, limit how often he can appear. But instead of letting that hinder the storytelling, WWE is leveraging it to maintain Reigns' aura of mystique. His sporadic appearances make every moment count. With so few matches left in his career, and possibly only a year remaining on his contract, every storyline he engages in now holds weight. Even if he doesn't compete in numerous singles matches throughout 2025, his presence can elevate others. The teased matches with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, though not yet formalized, serve as key milestones for the newer generation. A victory over Reigns, or even a competitive bout would catapult any young talent into the upper echelon of WWE's roster. Survivor Series War Games is being positioned as the long-term payoff for these intersecting storylines, with multiple factions and bitter rivalries unfolding. A massive multi-man showdown in San Diego could bring everything to a head. Imagine a War Games match with Reigns, Punk, and other key faces battling Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed under Heyman's guidance. It's the kind of spectacle that WWE thrives on. It allows for escalating tensions, mini rivalries within the larger war, and long-term storytelling that can reset or reinforce character arcs. More than anything, it's a vehicle to tease and slowly unravel the Reigns versus Punk narrative while using Rollins as the immediate threat. Should Rollins be healthy by then, his manipulative persona, combined with his role as money in the bank holder, could lead to a devastating twist. For Rollins, this injury, real or fictional, has created a halo of unpredictability around him. The fact that fans are debating whether it's part of a storyline or a real setback is a testament to how well WWE has managed the situation. They've kept things vague enough to maintain curiosity, while giving just enough information to sustain belief. Rollins being spotted on crutches without formal updates feels orchestrated to perfection. If it turns out he's genuinely injured, then WWE has prepared contingency plans. If not, then they've pulled off one of the better deception angles in recent memory. Either way, his character gains depth from this arc. His possible cash-in on Punk adds a Shakespearean layer of betrayal, history, and long-standing rivalry. It ensures that when Rollins reappears, the atmosphere is charged with expectation. Cody Rhodes and John Cena, while central to another title storyline, serve to expand the scope of WWE's current narrative. Their match at SummerSlam exists in a separate orbit, but the eventual integration of Cody back into the Reigns-Punk-Rollins universe is all but inevitable. Cody is a long-term asset and expected to return to full-time action post-SummerSlam. Unlike Reigns, who will vanish after key moments, Cody is seen as a future cornerstone of WWE, possibly the next central figure once Reigns fully departs. His stable presence will be crucial in carrying on the momentum that the Reigns era has built. Cody's full-time availability contrasts sharply with Reigns' sporadic schedule, creating a clear dichotomy between present and future. Looking further ahead, there's an unspoken urgency around Roman Reigns' limited time left in WWE. With his contract reportedly set to expire around WrestleMania 42 and no guarantees of renewal, every feud, match, or alliance he enters from now until then is potentially the last of its kind. WWE is well aware of this, and so are fans. The emotional connection to Reigns, especially after his historic title run and transformation into a multi-layered character, means his final stretch must be used to uplift other stars. Whether it's building Braun Breaker into a legitimate main eventer, giving CM Punk one final career-defining match, or bringing closure to his unresolved feud with Seth Rollins, each moment matters more now than ever. This period marks a golden opportunity for WWE to maximize their top talents before changes arrive. CM Punk's reintroduction has already reinvigorated fan engagement, but adding Reigns to the mix amplifies everything. Their team-up becomes an epic arc that could culminate in dramatic fashion, setting the foundation for future rivalries. Rollins, as the foil to this alliance, represents chaos and unpredictability. He thrives on disruption, and his presence is the perfect catalyst to keep the Reigns-Punk alliance from ever becoming too stable or predictable. Meanwhile, Heyman's betrayal weaves in layers of betrayal, manipulation, and history that span decades, creating depth that newer stories simply cannot replicate. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed's involvement, as the muscle behind Heyman's faction, is more than just filler. Their rise, facilitated by this high-level exposure, is critical for WWE's future. Engaging with top names like Rollins, Reigns, and Punk elevates their profiles instantly. It's part of WWE's effort to ensure the new generation is ready to take over once these established stars step back. A Roman Reigns match with either of them, even if it doesn't headline a major pay-per-view, will serve as a symbolic torch-passing moment. These are the kinds of calculated moves WWE must make to sustain its narrative strength and roster depth. The ongoing narrative evolution surrounding Roman Reigns' WWE return invites a fresh wave of creative direction, balancing nostalgia with the urgent need to progress new talent. Each move made since his comeback is less about reclaiming old territory and more about defining what remains of his influence. Reigns no longer needs championships to validate his position. His legacy already stretches across an era. What now matters is how that legacy can be used as a springboard for upcoming stars, while still providing compelling entertainment that captivates fans across generations. His selective involvement means that every match, promo, or even backstage segment must be loaded with narrative consequence, especially as his time with the company winds down. Roman's dynamic with CM Punk provides fertile ground for layered storytelling, rooted in complex motivations, rather than surface-level grudges. The mere idea of these two veterans setting aside personal history to pursue a shared objective elevates the stakes of every show they appear on. It's an alliance born out of necessity, not friendship, and that makes it inherently unstable, thus infinitely more compelling. Punk, known for his distrustful nature, will never fully submit to any cause without questioning it. Reigns, on the other hand, commands loyalty and structure. Their alliance is built on shaking a common enemy, not long-term cohesion, and everyone watching understands that detonation is inevitable. Parallel to this developing situation, the shadow of Seth Rollins looms large over WWE's storytelling framework. Despite being physically absent due to the speculated injury, his presence is omnipresent. The anticipation of whether or not he will make a surprise re-entry at SummerSlam adds suspense. If he does reappear, it likely won't be for a casual return. His reintroduction will be seismic.